Hello everyone and welcome. In this video I'm going to talk about multidimensional arrays in C++. So a multidimensional array is basically an array that has one or more arrays inside. So a two-dimensional array is going to be an array inside of an array. A three-dimensional array is going to be an array inside of an array inside of an array, and so on. And you can have as many dimensions as you want. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how you can manipulate those arrays in your C++ program. So let's get into it. So I'm going to create an array which is going to be two-dimensional, and to do that, I have to define two lengths. The first length is going to be the number of subarrays of this array. I'm going to put a 3 in there, so this array is going to have 3 arrays. The second length is going to be the number of elements of each subarray. I'm going to put a 3 as well. And I'm going to populate this array just like I would populate a normal array. So I'm going to write curly braces. Now this array is going to have 3 subarrays inside, so I'm going to put 3 curly braces inside. And each subarray is going to have 3 elements. So for example, 1, 2, 3. And the second is going to have 4, 5, 6. And the third is going to have 7, 8, 9. So this is a multi-dimensional array. It has 3 subarrays inside. Each subarray has 3 elements. Now the way you access elements in a multi-dimensional array is the same way you access elements in a normal array. So you're going to say cout the name of the array, and then you're going to define 2 indexes. So you can think of these as coordinates. So the first index is going to be the subarray that you want. So for example, if I write a 0, then this is going to be the first subarray. Remember that indexes go from 0 to the length of the array minus 1. So this is going to be 0, this is going to be 1, and this is going to be 2. And the second coordinate is going to be which element specifically I want. So for example, if I put a 2 in here, then this is going to give me the third element of the first subarray. So it's going to be 3. All right. So if I run this, this is going to output 3. If it loads, okay, so it outputted 3 as you can see. Now, if I put a 2, for example, and a 1 here, then this is going to access the second index, the index 2 of the main array, let's call it that. So that's going to be the third subarray, and it's going to go to the second element, which is index 1, which is going to be 8. And so if I output this, it's going to give me 8. All right. Now, the way you iterate through a multi-dimensional array is using a for loop. Obviously, if you don't know what a for loop is, you can watch my 2 videos about for loops. They're very important, so if you don't know how to work with for loops, please make sure to learn before you watch this part of the video. But basically, as I was saying, in order to iterate through a multi-dimensional array, you need as many loops as the number of dimensions of the array. So in this case, I have a 2-dimensional array, so I'm going to need 2 for loops in order to iterate through this array. So I'm going to put a for loop inside of a for loop. If I had a 3-dimensional array, then I would need to put a for loop inside of a for loop inside of a for loop. So I would use 3 for loops, which is the amount of dimensions of that array. So let's get into it. I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to say for int I equals 0. I is smaller than the length of the main array, which is going to be 3, and then I plus plus. So this is going to iterate through each subarray of the main array, right? And then inside of here, I'm going to put another for loop, which is going to iterate through the elements of each subarray. So it's also going to go to 3. And then let me cout a index I, index j, like so. So if I run this, this is going to output the elements of this array. So basically what's happening here is I starts at 0, and then it gets into this for loop where j is going to go from 0 to 2. So it's going to cout a index 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2. And then when it's done with this for loop, it's going to increment I to 1, and it's going to go to this for loop, and it's going to cout a 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, and then it's going to increment I to 2, and so on. So this is going to output all of the elements of the array. Now, instead of initializing the array directly, you can also ask the user to input the values of the array. So let me delete all of this, and instead of cout, let me say cin, and let me change this to the stream extraction operator. And I'm going to copy this so that we can see the output. I'm going to paste it, and instead of cin, I'm going to say cout, and okay. So let me run this. This is going to ask me to input a few values. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And if I run this, this is going to output all of the elements of the array. So basically what's happening here is in this for loop, I'm asking the user to input each element of the array, and then I'm going to store that inside of this array right here. And then I'm couting the elements of that array. Now, in order to access the size of a multidimensional array, it's the same as a normal array. So I'm going to cout the size of the array A divided by the size of an element, for example, A0. So this is going to be the first subarray. So if I run this, this is going to give me 3, which is the amount of subarrays inside of this array. And if I add another index here, then this is going to be an individual element. So if I run this, this is going to give me 9, which is the amount of elements of total elements inside of the array. So that's basically all I had to show you today. Multidimensional arrays are really just like normal arrays. The only difference is that they have arrays inside instead of other data types, but the way you work with them is pretty similar to normal arrays. I just wanted to show you this because, well, you might not know that you can do this, but now you do. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. In the next video, we're going to talk about vectors or maybe pointers and references, which I haven't covered yet. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.